Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Tuesday, the 23rd of April, 2024. Yet another day that did not go according to the original plans. Let's talk a little bit about that. Still a great day, though, overall. Great streaming day, and overall good vibes, so let's talk about that. So today, on the Level 1 podcast, we were going to talk about how tonight, on the late stream, I was going to do my first ever Fightcade stream where I was going to set up the Fightcade client and software on my mini PC, and I was going to try to play some retro fighting games, but I was going to need help from the audience to do so because I didn't know the steps to do, and someone had actually sent me some step-by-step instructions. They were a little confusing, and I figured, hey, go through those with the audience. We'll do it all together. As we're talking about that on today's podcast, it is revealed to me by a viewer. It's like, Phil, and by the way, it was one viewer particularly, but there was a few others as well that were chiming in. So I want to give everyone credit here. Thank you so much to those who did help me out today. I said, are you aware that Fightcade, because it's a peer-to-peer client and it's free, so it doesn't have any real complexities or protections, reveals your IP to the person you're playing? Not to say that it'll publicly put it on the screen per se, but yeah, the information's there to be data mined from someone who says has an IP sniffer program or someone who just knows a little bit of know-how about the program itself. They can get your IP address. No, I didn't know that. We talked about it for a half an hour, came to the determination, yeah, Fightcade is not safe for a streamer to use because anyone could just, play them and use something to get their IP address. And of course, as you know, with the amount of ridiculously crazy people on the internet harass me every day, they would likely use some kind of a client or this thing to get my IP, and they would likely post it up all over the internet for people to then attack with DDoS attacks and the like. So I can't have my business knocked offline constantly. I need to be able to operate every day to make money. It is my job after all. So I had to decide to not do Fightcade ever. Like, there's literally no way I could ever do it. Of course, there was some debate about VPNs and the like. We talked about some of that on the podcast. But then we ran out of time. And so it was time for my Elden Ring stream. Elden Ring today went pretty well. After about a half an hour more of attempting, I did finally beat the Placidusax optional dragon boss. Tough fight for a magic build, but I got it done. And then we continued on with the exploration and finally got to Malekith. I'm happy to say Malekith actually wasn't as hard as Placidusax for me. I beat him in about 3 to 4 tries, maybe. Not that bad. As always in this playthrough, I found ways around things not working. So if the glintstone magic doesn't work, well, then try use gravity magic. If the gravity magic doesn't work, maybe try using a sword, right? Magic sword, stuff like that. In this case, that's exactly what I did. Gravity magic for Placidusax using the charged Dark Moon Greatsword against Malekith. And so I basically beat Farum Azula within the first hour. The next hour and 45 minutes or so of gameplay resulted in me returning back to the Imperial City, exploring for an optional medallion that actually was a boosted version of the medallion that I had been using, and a little bit of optional exploration. But then I said, you know what? Let's just take on Godfrey. And we did. And it took a while, and I fought Godfrey. And after finding ways to beat him, I only had about 20 minutes left on my stream. I said, let's take on Radagon. We don't have time to beat this now, but let's try. And I actually got pretty far. In fact, once I did actually get to the second form, the Erdtree Beast or whatever the hell it's called. But we didn't get to beat it, and that was basically the end of the stream. So, I'm in position now for the end of the game. And what people said was, you know what? Don't keep fighting Radagon at this point. You could beat him, obviously, if you get better, but it makes sense for that to be the last piece of the game. So now you've done literally everything except go back to the north, clear that frozen area of any optional content, get to that town with the invisible enemies, clear that out, open the way to the Halig Tree, and start the Halig Tree. So, it's official. When I play Elden Ring again, which actually is sooner than you think, because I'll talk about that in a sec, so don't worry, I'm about to announce it. We will basically be on the road to the Halig Tree and likely arrive at the Halig Tree. Okay? Cool. Went really well. Great progress today. Enjoyed the progress. Even though it was hot as hell in my room because it was 70-something outside degrees Fahrenheit, it ended up being almost 90 degrees in here. Pretty insane. Yeah, just pretty hot in general. But I got through it and had a great day in Elden Ring. Well, my night stream was thrown into disarray. My plan was to do Fightcade. I do Fightcade because it exposes my IP address. So I said to everyone, I don't even know what I'm doing tonight. Just come to stream and hang out. For the whole first half hour, I thoroughly went through and explained the situation. People, of course, chimed in and spoke up regarding VPNs and their viability. And even though some people were like, well, you know, technically you could get a VPN. And technically you could get a VPN to make it say that actually you're in like Seattle rather than exactly where you're living. So it'll be close to you, so it shouldn't create too much extra latency. And then you can see if it works. And I'm like, do you guys listen to yourselves? Like, so you want me to do literally the most ridiculous convoluted thing to try to play Fightcade, which isn't even a guarantee that you're going to have competition, that it's going to work well. And on top of that, there's no guarantee the VPN will hide my IP fully and that someone won't still get it. I cannot take a liability where I am going to not be able to work. It's that simple. I can't. I have to be able to work to make a living and pay my bills and support my family. This is not a hobby for me where I fuck around and if I can't stream for a day, it's no big deal. No, I need to actually work every day like a normal person. So no, I can't have that liability, period. So after about a half an hour of that, we actually just went into open Q&A. And let me tell you guys, I had a really good time tonight because number one, I got to vent about all the nonsense going on. But also, we just got to hang out and have a good conversation about games, about everything. I roasted a detractor live who really, really was trying to just spew all the usual detractor nonsensical non-logic about me. And they just exposed themselves as being a complete idiot. And I love when that happens because it doesn't take much effort. But I don't usually address that kind of stuff. So it's fun when you get an idiot like that who comes on stream and just completely drops the beans. Like, oh, wow, I look like a moron now. Yeah, because you are. You know? So basically it was good. It was around 2 to 2.5 hours of just open Q&A. And people were incredibly supportive. And I don't even know why. It wasn't like I had said anything about what we were doing on the stream. I didn't even say a word about support. Not a word. People just wanted to support because they were having a good time. And that's what it's all about. So we had a great night together. Thanks to anyone who attended live. If you didn't, all this will be uploaded. You know, the Elden Ring's already live. The podcast is already live. But 2 to 2.5 hours of this open kind of chill stream stuff will go live right at the same time around as this video. So keep your eyes peeled for it here on the channel. And during the stream, we determined what I'll be doing tomorrow. For my final streaming day of the week, Wednesday, first stream will be a level 1 podcast followed by more Elden Ring, where we will head to the north, go through the frozen stuff, get to the Haley Tree. That's kind of the goal, is to arrive at the early stages of the Haley Tree tomorrow. Okay? We'll see how that goes, but I think we'll do a pretty good job of getting to the Haley Tree tomorrow and maybe doing even the initial stuff there. See. Tomorrow night on the late stream, something different. I'm going to start Fallout 4 early. And you might say, wait a minute. Why? I thought that the whole reason you're playing it is because of that update that's coming out on Thursday that's supposed to improve the frame rate, improve the graphics, improve tweaks and bugs and things like that. You're right. But the initial part of Fallout 4 is a chunk that you kind of need to get through before you get to the real game. If you remember, there's character creation, there's the initial narrative and story, there's the whole vault tech thing that goes down at the beginning of the game, and that takes over a half an hour to 40 minutes to really get through, right? Then there's the initial city, or the initial town, excuse me. As you explore it, you find your robot Cogsworth, and there's the mission there to essentially like build the city up for the first time. So you have to find the resources to fill, you know, the city defenses and stuff like that. I want to get all that stuff out of the way. I want to just get the initial stuff done with. So that way, when we play it again this weekend, we can actually start playing the real meat and story of the game. That initial stuff, you know, it's interesting the first time around, but I kind of remember it. What I don't remember is the other story aspects of the game. That's what I want to get to. So tomorrow night, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, will be the premiere Fallout 4, the second run 9 years later, and we're just going to get through the initial stuff for that stream. Okay? I'm off from streaming on Thursday. Friday is the premiere of Another Crab's Treasure, and Friday Night Fights, more Zangief and Street Fighter 6. Saturday will be the first daytime stream of Fallout 4 when we get into the meat of the game. Saturday night will be Helldivers 2, and we'll continue from there and see where the week takes us. Fair enough? I think that's a pretty darn good schedule for tomorrow and heading into the next week. Keep in mind, there are literally no major new releases that I'm interested in until the 3rd week of May. This is a good way to have variety in the schedule, balance all the content, and do different things. I think it's going to work out nicely. Okay? All right, everyone. So, thank you so very, very much. I hope that you enjoyed today. Sorry we didn't do Fightcade, and now Fightcade is completely off the table because of the risk and liability. But I hope you understand. I'll see you all tomorrow for my final consecutive streaming day of the week. Have a good night. Peace out.